This is a video for everybody who is pro-life. This is a video for the Minnesota GOP. This is a video for the Democrats who have taken control of the Minnesota legislature. And right now, the headlines all across the state are abortion, abortion, abortion. We are weeks away from the start of the 2023 legislative session. Already, Democrats are promising to codify Doe v. Gomez or Roe v. Wade or some wicked, vile, disgusting concoction of the two. They want abortion to be forever legal, forever encouraged, forever practiced. They want babies forever to be torn in pieces, their spinal cords cut, their skulls smashed, their bodies torn into pieces and sold. This is what's being pushed in 2023. And now there's not a single Democrat or leftist pro-abort voter who listens to a word of any of that and thinks to themselves, maybe that might not be a good idea. But here's the other part of this. The Minnesota GOP is running scared. Oh, they're running scared. Scott Jensen, who failed to beat Tim Walz, did an absolutely abysmal job messaging a pro-life message to the people of Minnesota. He pretended that abortion didn't matter. He pretended it wasn't on the ballot because technically it wasn't. He said that he is personally pro-life, but as a matter of policy, he's pro-woman, which is the same thing as saying he's pro-abortion. Every single sitting Republican state senator prior to these elections that just happened on November 8th has voted for taxpayer funding for abortions. Most of the Republicans, if they held office in 2017, most of them voted for taxpayer funding for abortions too. And now they're running away as hard as they possibly can. The consultants, the political class, they're saying, oh, abortion's a bad issue. Don't you know? Don't you know? There's all kinds of people out there who want to butcher their babies. We can't stand in the way, and they run backwards as hard as they can. Minnesota GOP Chairman David Hahn sent out a memo encouraging all the GOP candidates running in the 2022 general elections to flee away from the pro-life issue, to acknowledge that abortion is a fundamental constitutional right in the state of Minnesota. Like that was somehow going to buy them some votes from the Democrats or from the moderates or from the independents in the middle. It didn't. It didn't. The blue wave crashed and washed over the state of Minnesota like it did in many other places. And right now, even as we speak, so-called pro-life organizations are running scared. Minnesota Citizens Compromised for Life, who spent months viciously attacking Minnesota Right to Life, who I have the pleasure to work with and help. Now they're going backwards saying, oh, we don't want to push these issues anymore. We don't want to push pro-life issues. Well, you never really did. You endorse pro-abortion candidates. And now that the abortion issue supposedly cost the GOP a whole bunch of seats, you're running away scared. And so now the headlines all across the state are abortion, abortion, abortion in 2023. Well, here's just a couple of things that I can say. Minnesota Right to Life, who I work for. We have a large team. We're growing larger by the day. Very soon, we will have all of the resources. We have many already. The people and the firepower necessary to politically target politicians who are coming after the unborn and who want to tear these babies into pieces. We're not like the other pro-life organizations. We don't cower. We don't run away. We don't do political favors for politicians who want to fund abortions, who want to vote for these things and get away with it. The reality is, the only reason the DFL feels so confident that they can even pass this stuff is because the pro-life organizations that existed in this state for the last 30, 40, 50 years have shown themselves to be completely impotent, utterly incapable of holding the line for the babies, exposing pro-abortion candidates, stopping abortion legislation from passing. Not Minnesota Right to Life. The message to you Democrats, I know there's some of you in very vulnerable districts, in the Iron Range, in the suburbs, and other areas, people who just barely eked it by. Our team has already made the list, who won, who lost, by what margin, what percentage, how many votes, 2, 3, 10, 100, 500, 1,000. Whoever votes to fund abortion, whoever votes to codify abortion, if you are one of these weak Democrats, if you are a Republican and you vote for these things, Minnesota Right to Life will target you in the 2024 elections. We will expose you in those elections. We will expose you in the elections in 2026 and in 2028 and in 2030. What happens this legislative session, whatever votes take place here, this organization that is growing faster than anybody ever anticipated will keep a list forever. And we will make sure that every voter in your district knows precisely what you did, what it meant, how it was implemented, how it was funded, and what the final outcome was in all of its grisly, gruesome, perverse, disgusting detail. We'll make sure everybody in your districts knows exactly what you did. None of this whitewashed, silly, pandering crap that the GOP pushed out this entire election cycle. None of this whitewashed version of abortion is healthcare or women's rights. None of that stuff. We'll make sure everybody knows that you voted to have babies torn in pieces, their bodies ripped apart, lives ended. And if you want to answer for that to the voters in your district, be my guest. But I will make it my mission. It is the mission of Minnesota Right to Life to stop these laws from passing. They're wicked, they're evil, they're vile, they're corrupt. And none of you Democrats care about this stuff anyway. All you want are votes. All you want are votes. Well, here in Minnesota Right to Life, we don't care. We don't care if you want votes. We don't care if the GOP is scared. We don't care about the ways in which Scott Jensen tiptoed around the issue. We don't care if MCCL is running terrified. We don't care. We care about the votes that you take or don't take in the upcoming legislative session. And we're going to be right here to tell every voter what it is that you did. And if you think that somehow you're going to get a free pass, or you can just eke by, or that maybe the pro-life groups won't remember what happened when the elections come along, nobody has a longer memory when it comes to abortion, abortionists, abortion funding, the bills, the legislature, the legislative process. Nobody knows that, follows that, and remembers that stuff better than we do. So, take the votes if you like, but we'll see you in the next elections.